What's up, everybody? It's Greg with Delta, and this is the Be the Difference podcast. This podcast is all about making you a better person in your life and in your business with coaching on sales, leadership, mindset, marketing, everything under the sun when it comes to being an entrepreneur. Today, we got a solo episode, and I wanted to talk to you. This is going to be pretty quick. I want to talk to you about something that I read the other day and a lot of studies that I've been doing in terms of Stoicism and ancient Greek mythology. And back in a long time ago. Okay, it's back 14th, 15th century. In Taiwan, there were Buddhist monks that created a statue, a 10-foot tall statue of Buddha, and it was made of pure gold. And they had it inside of a temple where they worshipped it, and it was very treasured. It was one of their greatest treasures in Taiwan. In 1767, Burmese invaders, or the Burmese army invaded Taiwan, and the monks knew that if the invaders were to come there, that they would destroy the statue. So what they did in order to protect the statue was they took plaster and mud and they covered the statue to make it look like it was made of plaster and mud, of basically of stone. And it actually worked. So the invaders came and they stayed for quite a few years, but they never touched the statue. Now that statue was moved around over the years multiple times in that same temple, and it wasn't until 1955 they were trying to move it, and it fell, and some of the plaster cracked. And inside, they could see that there was a glimmer, that there was something shining, and they broke it open and they found out that this was made of pure gold. And they had no idea. It is worth over $250 million worth of pure gold. Okay. So I love this story because it's a great metaphor to all of us. Right. And when I read that story, I think about specifically Michelangelo, because when Michelangelo was teaching how he created the statue David, he talks about how he looked at the block of stone, and he looks at all the pieces he has to take away. He looks at it as a process of removal to bring forth the beautiful piece of art that's within. And if we look at both of those concepts with those stories and put them together, that's a lot like our lives. It's a lot like us, right? If we look at ourselves, like all of us, and I truly believe every single one of us, we have greatness and potential within us. It's limitless. Every single person, right? If you're listening to this, you have limitless potential. There is greatness within you. There is that golden soul that's trying to shine forth. But a lot of times, with experiences, with interactions, and just the world in general, it kind of throws mud and plaster on us. And we get weighed down by negative experiences, negative internal thoughts, limiting beliefs, which helps to keep that plaster there. And it keeps us from achieving all of the greatness that we're meant to achieve while we're alive. And if we look at the things in our life as a process of removal, like what are we doing currently that doesn't actually move it forward, that doesn't actually make us feel better, that doesn't challenge us to make us better, and we start chipping away at that. And we look at our life as Michelangelo looked at the block of stone as he created David, then we'll be able to chip away all that plaster in order to have the greatness within shine. And these two stories for me have made me take a look at my life and like what I need to remove and be more intentional for me. Because no matter how far you get, okay, personal development and really trying to better yourself and always chasing your your best version of yourself, That's a never ending journey. It doesn't stop because every single time that you stretch and you reach forward and you try to really push yourself and you do something that you've never done before, well, now you've hit a new standard. And since you've hit a new standard, your performance has now increased. And with your performance increase, your potential increases too. So it's a constant stretching and then pushing out your capabilities. And that's why I said earlier that everyone's potential is unlimited because as you continue to reach for it, it continues to get pushed out further and further and further and further. Okay. And it becomes this act that you have to do daily, even like no matter what, like you can't stop, right? Because if you stop, you start going backwards and you start to accomplish things and achieve things in your life that you never thought were possible. And people look at you like, dude, that's crazy. For instance, like me doing 1,000 push-ups. Like I like to push myself physically a lot, right? And doing 1,000 push-ups every single day, no matter what, Monday through Sunday, for months and months and months for the past almost the past actually the past year I've been doing this. And people look at me like, that's crazy. And it's not crazy. It's just that I worked my way up to it. And I'm just not you, but anyone can do that. Right. And so the more I push myself, the more I'm like, okay, what else do I want to achieve? What else do I want to do? It becomes as simple as the concept of brushing your teeth or bathing yourself. That's why you have to do it every single day because there is no stopping point. There's nothing that you can do where you're just gonna be like, okay, now I've made it. You haven't made it, right? You're always trying to grow. So I'm always chipping away the plaster of that's covering my potential and what I'm meant to be. And through this process of me actually reflecting on it and thinking, what do I want to get rid of? Right. There's things in my life, there's people, there were relationships that I decided that weren't fulfilling to me. And there were relationships that I wanted to pour more into that I wasn't pouring enough into. But I realized like I needed more out of this relationship and I wanted to actually deepen it. So it wasn't so much as of a getting rid of, but it was a lack thereof, and so I wanted to add to. So take a few moments today and write down all the things that you do on a daily, weekly basis, and then I want you to take 10, 15 minutes and imagine 5 years from now. And when you imagine 5 years from now, I want you to imagine yourself as the perfect version of yourself. You are all the success that you've ever wanted, you have all of the adoration, the love, the relationships, your work, the money, whatever it is that comes to mind when you think of success and ultimate achievement and that perfect version of yourself. I want you to imagine that. And then when you see that version of yourself, ask that person in your mind what it is they do on a daily basis. What kind of action they do? What kind of good habits do they have? Because this is you. And look at that habits versus what you're currently doing and start removing the ones that you know would not get you to that 5 year perfect version of yourself. Although perfect, I mean, I say perfect, but we both know, we all know that there's no such thing as perfection, but it's about really trying to become the most ideal version of you. Do that and then start removing things out of your life just like the artist, the sculptor that's trying to sculpt the perfect version, the beautiful work of art within, as you're trying to remove that plaster to show the golden soul that's within you, then to share it with the world. Try this. And you know what? What's even more powerful is share it with somebody. Share this with somebody to hold yourself accountable. Like, hey, I've realized I'm doing these actions and I want to get rid of these. I want to do these less because it's not really feeding my life. Maybe it's a vice, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's scrolling on Instagram, maybe it's using social media too much, maybe it's your food or nutrition, maybe it's your sleep, maybe it's binge watching TV, right? Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's porn. Whatever it is though, share it with somebody. Makes it a lot more powerful and it puts the intention verbalizing and putting out that intention makes it more solidified that you're going to stick with that goal. So I hope this is helpful to you. I hope that you get some value out of it. And I hope that you do this activity and really take yourself to the next level because it will help. I promise you. Um, if you got any value from this and you enjoy this, then do me a favor, share this content with somebody else that can also learn and grow from it, that can also apply this practice or this technique to their life in order to be better. And this has been the Be the Difference podcast. I'm your host, Greg Birch. Until next time, we'll see you. Deuces.